And we're back again in the most famous photographed alley in all of Long Beach downtown. This time we're doing another walk around video on my Pan America. This is a 2022, 21, 22? I don't remember. I think it's a 22. Yeah, 22 Pan America Special is what it started as. If you haven't seen the other videos, go back after you watch this one. We have like a 4-part, 5-part series on like getting this bike, riding this bike cross country, bringing it back, tearing it down, doing this whole build, how everything came to be. This is like a 4-part series, but we haven't done like, since it's been finished, we haven't really done like a full walk around video. And there's a lot of new subscribers and people that haven't seen it. So here we are, Pan America Special. This is my pre-Pan America ST. This is the sport touring version of a Pan America from my vision. So yeah, let's break it down, I guess. Started as a 22. I didn't really change anything on the engine because there's really nothing to change. These things make a ton of power, smooth, fast, sport mode, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. When I built this, did not want an off-road bike. When I rode this thing cross-country, it screamed sport touring to me. So I wanted like a full on-road bike. I wanted something, again, that when you look at this bike, typically this could be a factory custom, a CVO, something like that. Try to use as many Harley factory parts as I could, modify a lot of stuff. So like, first thing, what I really admired about the Pan Am, or when I first saw it, I was sort of enamored by the graphic of the bar and shield going on from the tank to the fairing. So when I built mine, I knew I wanted to retain that and sort of like play off of like, it's really kind of looks factory. So this gas tank's completely made from scratch. I started with a Sportster S base and then built the whole rest of it. I wanted basically like a more traditional Harley shaped tank, like a bagger tank or something, that didn't have the big wings going forward and it didn't have like a real hard angle. I tried to soften all the angles on this bike and essentially smooth it out to give, you know, the traditional Harley rider like something they were more familiar with, basically. You know, I think this bike being such a departure from like traditional Harleys, a lot of people were sort of maybe turned off to the idea of it right away because it didn't feel familiar to them. The engine doesn't look the same, doesn't sound the same. So I wanted to do things on this bike that were traditional Harley or familiar for other Harley riders. So basically changed the shape of the tank, wireframed and did the whole tank, bead rolled and did a center section that's recessed so I could add this leather strap. I still needed access for the fuel sending unit and the, you know, all that stuff. So that was my sort of cover access here. When I got this, you know, I really did like the relation between the gas tank and the fairing and the gap and the fact that the graphic spanned over that. So because this tank, when I made it, was so much shorter to have a more traditional shape, I actually extended this fairing back about 4 inches. So the relationship here is the same, but the whole thing is just stretched back. So because, you know, this is a street bike and I wanted all the bling with the street stuff, I went for a 21-inch front wheel. These are my wheels that I make, matching rotors, and a steel fender. I extended the fender. I wanted a full-length fender. I didn't want like an off-road looking deal. So full length on this, you know, fender tip in chrome with the bar and shield logo in it. On this bike specifically, I only used bar and shield logos. I didn't do any like really Harley script. So everything is, that's a conscious decision there. You know, it has like a nice little kind of rib section on the side. It actually started raining right now. It's one of the 3 days of the year that it rains in California and we're trying to film a video. So anyway, final bombs. Pretty loud, actually. It's not even all the way up. I made the speaker pods, Rockford Fosgate system in here. The amp is mounted under the seat, but made grills, made the tweeter things, made these pods. I maybe had thoughts of selling these pods at one time, but not sure yet. I still have to make a few other adjustments because to get them all tucked in the way I wanted, I had to eliminate the up and down movement of the windshield. This is a Clockworks one-off windshield that they did for me. Another thing with this bike, on the factory trees, you are locked into the factory Pan Am risers or something. The spacing's different. I made a billet top tree and changed the riser spacing to traditional Harley spacing because it opened up possibilities to be able to run, 1-inch risers. You could run anybody's riser. You could run my risers. You could run, drag specialties or whoever. So traditional spacing here. I did a 1-inch bar here, and then the controls are all 7/8 on these. So it's actually stepped down to 7/8 right below the mirror perch. And again, getting back to the sort of familiarity, if that's a word, of the traditional Harley stuff. Everything on this bike is essentially metric. I actually went in and painstakingly made adapters to run the traditional Harley teardrop mirrors. So the other thing on this bike is the seat. I worked with Saddlemen on this seat and actually developed this. I started when I did my cross-country ride on this first. Developed a seat that, if anyone that has a Pan Am, the seat kind of kicks you forward. It's not the most comfortable. It puts you on your wrists. I basically added material here, took off material here, adjusted the rider position so you're a little more neutral and upright. And then also wanted like sort of traditional, gunfighter shape. So as you can see, the seat profile comes down. It's raised up above the subframe, which I powder coated black. This bike, it really inspired. I was inspired by this bike and like a T-Sport, a Dyna T-Sport, sport touring. A factory Dyna accessory that a lot of people covet is the little mini toolbox. I sort of wanted to recreate that here. This is a prototype. I'm actually going to remake it. But yeah, I sort of want a really factory looking, just again with the bar and shield stamp on there, but just a little accessory toolbox. Passenger floorboards, again, something I always like on my Dynas and stuff. Used like the sort of low profile bagger ones, made my own mounts here. One of my beefs with this is like how much plastic was on this bike. And again, Harley riders, they like chrome, they like stuff like that. So I went in, this is actually plastic. This is actually plastic. I had all this stuff chromed. Re-chromed a bunch of this stuff, kind of made it a little more street feeling, pocketed out some of this stuff. The exhaust is all stainless. This is the stock head pipes, just polished out. Did a little modification down here, and then worked with Thunderheader and did a full stainless Thunderheader, basically mid-pipe and exhaust on this thing. It's pretty awesome. Hold on, I gotta put it in rain mode. All right. Another thing I can tell you, and you probably already know this if you're a Pan Am owner, this radiator hose was dangerously close on the factory bike, so I worked with Samco hoses out of the UK and developed this hose kit. It's a whole hose kit for the whole bike. Silicone hose, really a good upgrade. You should definitely check that out. Another thing on this bike, I really wanted to develop a bag bracket system because when I saw these factory Harley bags, these are the new version of the T-Sport bags made for Softails. So I was like, well, how can I basically make Softail bags fit on the Pan America? So that's what these are. These are factory Harley Softail bags, super cool. Other companies have copied this, but basically, super cool bag. So these bag brackets will allow you to run any Softail bag on a Pan America. We've got 2 sets of holes, so you can sort of adjust your angle of the bags that you want. But you could run the hard bags, the Softail clamshells, let's call them, or these factory bags, or any aftermarket soft tail bags with this hole spacing will go right on here, and it mounts right to the subframe. I sell them as sort of a builder's kit where you know, you can add on to them. I made my own floorboards, so if you're running the factory deal and you want to connect to the floorboard here, you could do that. So they're on the website. They're in raw finish, so you can weld on them. You can do whatever you want to do, but that's them, powder coated black. I mean, they're solid as a rock, and I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Just putting that bag on in 2 seconds. So the inner fender is, I think, off of some sort of early sport bike, or maybe even Buell, I can't remember, but it's a fiberglass piece that I modified to get the angle and the shape, and I trimmed a bunch of stuff off of it. Powder coated the swing arm black, switched the rear to a bare knuckle performance, makes this bracket that allows you to run one of the front Brembos in the back. It looks really nice. In the back, basically just did the bare knuckle performance sort of tag relocation bracket, cleans up the back really nice. I made custom mounts for the turn signals to fit because these bags have essentially little cutouts for the turn signals, so I relocated them there. Rear chain guard on this thing is normally plastic. I showed the whole process in the other video, but this is the full metal, chromed. Again, only using bar and shield logos on this whole bike, no script or anything like that. Made all this. Custom sprocket to match the wheels. Again, with the chrome this, modded this, made a coil bracket, or chromed the coil bracket, made a coil little sort of cover like I do on a lot of my bikes. You know, a couple added little powder coated parts here and there, made this sort of little bar and shield casted piece. And yeah, again, Samco hoses. I think these are the Sportster S radiator guards, got rid of the big ones. Modified the skid plate, powder coated that, modified the skid plate. The one thing I do actually need to do on this is modify the kickstand. I never did that. Definitely sits a little tall, hence the 2x4 that's sitting on. You know, just added to the list of things I need to do. But yeah, I mean, this Pan Am is great. I love it. Truth be told, I haven't even had enough time to really, it went on tour for a year. I got it back. I've been busy doing other bikes. You've seen the other videos. So this spring and winter, hopefully, I can put some more miles on this thing. But it's definitely a bike that I plan on keeping. It's not, I mean, unless somebody really had to have it, and you know, feel free to message me. But I don't have any real plans on selling it. It's just a bike that's like, it does it all. I've said this in the other videos, but it's a Swiss Army knife. The bike's awesome. If you've ridden one, you know. But yeah, I just can't wait to really get this thing out on the road again and, you know, tear it up.